Well, hello there, everybody. I want to ask you to please like, comment, and subscribe to the video if you haven't already. Only about 22% of you are subscribed, and I'd like to improve that number. Now, I was initially going to make a top 3 video on best Mafia games, and I still might do that. It would probably get a whole bunch more views, but I started working on City of Gangsters, and I just couldn't stop saying positive things about it. I couldn't stop praising it. I've played this game so much. There's a bunch of different modifications to add things like drugs into the game. But of course, initially, it's really more of a prohibition mafia strategy simulator with shootouts, business agreements, agreements with politicians, with cops, and of course, selling hooch, the best thing you can sell. Now, you start off in a particular city. The cool thing is, though, you can randomly generate a city, number one. And number two, you can actually download cities that other players have created. There's a lot of European cities available. Even Lisbon is available, which I think is really cool. But to start out with, let's just start with the great city of New York. And we're going to call our guy Francesco Leone of the Leone outfit. If you look up here, there's different ethnic groups that you can select. Now, I like that Francesco Leone, so I'm going to do Francesco Leone. And you can also pick different sort of starting skills. So, for instance, or actually, I'll call it the Leone family. For instance, if you go over here, there's a starting personality type, right? All of them are going to bring sort of a different focus, whether more strength, more intelligence, things of that nature. I selected the Iron Fist just because it makes you cruel, aggressive, and irritable. I figured that's appropriate. It's like, we're mobsters and we're a little aggressive, we're a little irritable, all those good things. So that's what I took, is the aggressive and irritable one. Now, over here, you can also start out with like a special skill. And the one I like is nice building you got there, which reduces the cost of acquiring a building by 20%. You're going to see as we jump into the Let's Play or the gameplay, there's a lot of screwing over your competition and things of that nature. There's a lot of extortion. So we're going to be extorting people. And for that, I think this is a good starting skill. So let's jump in and let's see what City of Gangsters has to offer and why I consider it the best strategy game right now for the Mafia of all time. Now, I would say if Gangsters 2 was available, I'm sure plenty of you have played that. In fact, if you have played Gangsters 2, let me know in the comments. I would absolutely put it up instead of this. But this, I would say, is a very hot number 2. They've done a lot of improvements from what I think was a pretty mediocre game at first. And I'd like to show it off to you guys. So you start off learning all about where you are and the age you're in. And the most important thing is this is the age of prohibition. And this is creepy as hell because it's actually starting me in Queens in the neighborhood I grew up in, Astoria. This is insane. That being said, it is what it is. And we've got Francesco Leone here. Now, if you take a look, you go to Arthur's Cafe. You can go to whatever cafe is close to you already. But you want to basically begin by extorting a business. Our outfit wants to expand our territory, and we need you to work with us. And Arthur Bauer, it looks like he's not too keen on it. He wants to sleep on that. We don't like that kind of, we don't like that attitude. But we also have something over here I think you guys have noticed. We have a funeral home that we own, and the blue lets us know that it's our building. We've got an area here, except instead of keeping bodies, well, we do keep the occasional body, let's be honest, but we mostly keep booze, okay? And over time, you're going to want to expand your territory, expand your businesses to include businesses that can manufacture it. Now, in this particular situation, I'm just going to ask my nephew, and it lets me know he's my nephew there, to increase my relationship. But as you can see, we already have a pretty good relationship with these guys. So I'm not even going to bother, I'm not going to waste any action points on it. Instead, I'm going to go to Vittorio Amate and once again ask her if she would be willing to be our first front. And she's saying, I know exactly what you mean. I'll take care of neighbors and their deposits. And what we're going to do, guys, just the first part of the game is expanding your territory. And of course, we have to pay some money to expand that territory. While that's going on, we can try extorting other businesses. And usually you extort them by letting them know, I've got great news. I've taken over the corner. And he doesn't want to pay. So we're actually going to try and destroy property to get him to pay. Unfortunately, we're out of action points. So we go to the next turn. And as you can see, there's an officer coming by. And that's something I didn't discuss before. But yes, officers, police officers can definitely put an end to your operations. But one thing you can do is you can pay off police officers. Hell, not just police officers, you can pay off politicians. I mean, over time. But of course, you're starting off with just this very small family. And initially, you might just want to try, get some money in your pockets. It looks like the folks over here like brick wine. So we're going to sell them just a bit. And what do you buy and sell here? Brick wine. You can see they also are selling, they want to buy 15 crocs for $2.25, but they're also selling other things. Not just brick wine, but they're selling barrels. And we can use that later in our own cooking processes or for missions. And you get missions by visiting some of these businesses, especially if you want them to work with you, if you want to extort them, but you also want to do, you want them to grow and you want them to get stronger. There are going to be certain missions you're going to get, and those missions unlock everything from additional gangsters to additional locations to open up booze factories, things like that. And you start off from just this tiny piece. And over time, if you keep on working at it, you're going to wind up with something a little more like this. Let me introduce you to the Giordano family with our main member here, Samuel Giordano. He's become so notorious that he's actually now called the Godfather. If we zoom in here, we can see all of these different businesses, guys. We've got moonshine distilleries over here, chock full of moonshine and stoneware crocs. We've got a ton of other businesses that are simply paying us protection money. And it's just, envelope after envelope coming in here. I wish life were still this easy. But again, it just really lets you build up a true crime empire. You can see that over here, we've got the Polish Mafia, the Wisniewski crew, and over here, the French Mafia, the Blanc crew. And we are actually in Manhattan in this particular playthrough. Actually, that might be, no, it's not the Empire State Building. Empire State would be more downtown. Nonetheless, it's just amazing, man. The level of things you can do here. All of the police that we're currently working with are paid off. So if we select this officer, maybe not him. He's not paid off. He is not paid off. You can see he's not paid off because he has a zero relationship with us. But Officer Marvin here, once again, maybe not paid off either. Man, we got to start paying off these cops. It's quite important to do so because if you don't pay off the cops, they will bust you and you'll lose thousands. Now, another thing, and this does require a DLC, but I think it's worth noting just because it's so damn cool, is you can have actual gambling houses. So establishments where people will actually gamble. You can build poker tables, you could build slot machines, you could build roulette tables, horse betting races tables. I mean, the options are endless. It's just incredible the type of businesses you can get into. It's not just bootlegging liquor. It's also, extorting other businesses, setting up poker games, even nightlife, if you know what I mean, is something you could also go into. But the goal is, by the end of Prohibition, and I believe the end of Prohibition is 1936. It might be earlier than that. But at the end of Prohibition, the game ends, and essentially, you rack up the points and see how you did against the other mobsters. One of my biggest gripes with the game, and I think other people will share it too, well, number one, there's a few things they could work on. I'd love, for instance, for your own mobsters to be able to take you out or try and turn you in. There was a similar game in this genre that did that, where they could actually go to the police and become stool pigeons. And the other thing is that quite often the other families aren't that strong when you're fighting them. And what I've done to offset that is I won't even mess with the other families for a couple of years. It really gives them time to build up their property and also build up their enforcers. And yes, you can get into gunfights, you can get into shootouts, you can lose your members in shootouts. All of those things can happen. And I mean, over time, you can grow into a true empire. This is my Palumbo family Let's Play in Chicago, essentially owning the entire South Loop. We've driven out a ton of other families just to take this location. And over here on the left side, you'll see the missions that I was talking about earlier. Different missions you can accomplish in an effort to gain money, trust, pretty much anything you're looking for. Like I said, there is a political element to the game, but the political element is a DLC, which allows you to bribe politicians into supporting your family and getting you out of a bunch of different messes. You can see that a lot of the guys have crazy names like Babyface Marini, the Snake, things like that, and Foxy Viglione over here, who owns the gambling den. I want to be clear, I didn't name them this. These are the names that they earn, right? After having served a lot of time and doing a particular skill set in your family. Now, these guys, like my brother, Knifey Palumbo, God rest his soul, they're dead. So is Fats Viglione. That's why they're grayed out. Good old Willard Stevenson. They all got killed serving the family. And I just think that's something really awesome about this game. It feels like a true Mafia game. It's that simple. We have one of my gambling dens that I was telling you about earlier. This one has sports betting. It's got a faro parlor. I have no idea what faro is, and just basic card tables. But we're actually running at a loss right now. And eventually what can happen, number one, you need to make sure to keep on putting money into your business. But what can happen is a player can owe you a lot of money, and you can either ask for the money up front, right, which he may or may not be able to pay you. You can get him to give you property, like a car, or you can get him to tell you specifically where to start a new business, and sometimes they'll also just give you booze. Aside from all that, if that doesn't work, you're gonna have to teach them a lesson, of course, and that's a whole separate video. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one and just gave you the scale of what City of Gangsters is like, what you can do in it, you know, the different ups and downs of it. As you can see, this policewoman, Laura Andrews, she loves us, and she actually owes us 3 favors. It's a good example of how you can get the cops to work for you and not against you. And believe me, in a game like this, that's exactly what you want, because there's a lot of different businesses we've got a lot of things we got to sell here, a lot of pistols, guns, that if we were found with them, well, put quite simply, our family would probably be over. Thank you so much for stopping by, guys. Again, I ask that you please like, comment, and subscribe, especially if the video helped you out in getting a purchase. Look at that. This is just a speakeasy we have running. We're just making automatic money off this by putting wine in it, and we get money out of it. Just beautiful. But anyway, thank you so much. Take care. Have a great day, and I'll catch you on the next one.